Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to your Tuesday reading class. Today we are going to work in your reading book on page 324, if you could open up your reading book, and we'll follow along. We're going to review our focus skill, which is making inferences. So remember that sometimes authors don't tell you exactly what they want to say. They don't communicate every single word, and instead they imply or they suggest what they're talking about. So, so as I read, think about what you already know about a subject, then make a connection to what you know and then what the author's actually telling you. And that will help you to understand what the main idea that the author is trying to tell you about or what the article or story is about. So if you go over to page 325, and let me pull that up for us. Page 325 says, make inferences. And this is exactly what we just talked about. So the first thing you want to do is look for clues as to what the author's telling you. Next, you want to think about what you already know. Take your prior knowledge that you have, and we all have prior knowledge, but you have to sometimes think really hard about what the author's telling you and that what you actually know. And then when you put those two together, you should be able to come up with an inference. Down below, they have a little tip. So it says you can make inferences about causes and their effects. You can also make inferences about the important ideas related to a topic. And we've talked about cause and effect multiple times, and we know that they go like in a little circle. So if you have the cause, then you have the effect. And sometimes they give you the effect and they give you the cause that led to the effect. Sometimes they're in the opposite order. And there are key words that we've talked about that can help you to figure it out. So moving past cause and effect to our inferencing. So we're going to read the article and then we're going to use the chart to make some inferences about spiders. So first of all, you have the little chart down here. We have our graphic organizer, and it says what the author tells me, what I already know, and then what can I infer from this. So we're going to go up top. We're going to see what the author tells us. It says many kinds of spiders live in Florida. Since they eat insects, they can find plenty of food in this part of the world. Spiders have many ways of catching their prey. Some use webs. Wolf spiders and jumping spiders hunt for their food. All spiders have good eyesight. Jumping spiders have 3 rows of eyes. Wolf spiders also use vibrations of the ground to help tell them when insects are near. So we're going to take what the author tells us. So if we look at it, what is the author telling us? Well, he's telling us that spiders have really good eyesight. So it says they have good eyesight, they use vibrations. Take what you already know. What do I already know? Okay, well, you probably know that spiders. So if you are using everything that you know already and then applying it to what the author's telling you, I think we need to make sure that we go back and reference the first paragraph that says many kinds of spiders live in Florida. Since they eat insects, they can find plenty of food in this part of the world. So the author's telling me that they have good eyesight and there are lots of insects in Florida and many different kinds of spiders live in Florida. So we take what we already know, which is spiders have to eat. We know that spiders are good trappers. And so then we take what we know that there are probably lots of different insects that spiders eat in Florida, which is why they live there. So you looked back at the passage. What inference can you make about insects in Florida? That there's a lot of insects in Florida because there are many kinds of spiders that live in there. And since they eat insects, you can find plenty of food down in Florida. So that's why there's so many spiders that live in Florida. So you take what the author knows, what do I already know, and what inference can you make? That there are a lot of insects down in Florida because there are many kinds of spiders, and spiders have to eat the insects in order to survive. So we're going to move on to our next page. So if you would go, I think you guys have to turn in your book to page 326, and it's our robust vocabulary. I'll give you a second to turn in your book. Okay, so before we read our vocabulary, we're going to go over our actual list of vocabulary words on the left. So prey, that is an animal that is hunted for food. Shallow is not very deep. Strands, those would be long, thin pieces of something. Are strands, you can have strands of hair, strands of yarn. Social, animals that live in groups, not on their own. Spiral are spiral-shaped curls that go around and around. And then we have reels, a person that reels something by winding the wire that's attached to something else, like a fishing reel. So we're going to read our passage that uses our vocabulary words. Okay, so we have a Florida wildlife tour. The scrublands of Florida are dry. Their climate is perfect for lizards, spiders, gopher tortoises, and mice. The Florida scrub lizard hunts prey such as ants, beetles, and spiders. Wolf spiders are hunters too. They hide in shallow burrows or under dry leaves. Gopher tortoises eat many kinds of plants. They share long tunnels with other animals. You can see social animals such as wood storks or river otters on a visit to one of Florida's freshwater swamps. Wood storks live in colonies and wade in the water. River otters are playful. They rest on the water's banks and dive in to catch fish. Many snakes live in the swamps. The venomous water moccasin hunts rabbits. It curls into a spiral shape when it rests. And then you have some pictures over here. If you look over there, they're quite adorable. You have the little river otter. He's cute. And then you have a man who's sitting, and there's his fishing pole, and he has a reel there that his fishing line would be connected to that he would reel in. All right, so your mission this week is to use the vocabulary words in conversations with your friends and family. So if you want to post some comments on the stream part of our Google Classroom, try using some of your vocabulary words in a conversation. For example, describe places where you might find a spiral pattern. Maybe draw a spiral pattern. Write your vocabulary words in sentences, but definitely throughout the week, try to use your vocabulary words in different ways. I know we only focused on 6 this morning. We will work on the other 4 later this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you in just a couple minutes with your next lesson. Take care.